Farmers, trust is everything. At Genesis Fertilizers, we're not just proposing to build a facility, we're building a future designed for you. With real progress already underway, we're closer to providing Western Canadian farmers with a reliable, locally produced fertilizer supply. Now is the time to take control of your farm's future. Learn more at genesisfertilizers.com/credibility.
The following interview was recorded at the National Association of Farm Broadcasting meeting in Kansas City. Joined right now by Bergen Nelson with John Deere. Bergen, how's it going?
Hey, good. How are you today?
I'm doing fantastic. So a lot of interesting stuff happening, of course, always at John Deere. What's your area of specialty at John Deere?
Yeah, I'm the go-to-market manager for harvesting equipment, focusing on combines and front-end equipment, including our new S7 combine as well as X9, and focusing on our corn heads and flex drapers out in the marketplace.
Yeah, I was going to ask you, how do you define front-end equipment?
Yeah, front-end equipment would be a corn head, a flex draper, a rigid draper, or a hinge draper. So we have a wide variety of front-end equipment pieces, and you being from Western Canada, we also have our belt pickup, which is very popular in Canada.
Right. Are there any exciting new product features that you're talking to people about?
Yeah, absolutely. In 2025, we introduced our new S7 combine, replacing our S700 series. And as well as with that machine, we introduced new harvest automation, which is both applicable to the X9 combine as well as the S7. And one of those technologies is called predictive ground speed automation, and that is cameras on the front of the combine that look out 28 feet in front of the machine. And we're also pulling in satellite imagery in through Operations Center. And using that data, it allows us to optimize the machine and speed it up and slow it down automatically, which allows us to run the machine at full capacity all day long. And that's contributing to up to a 20% increase in productivity for our customers across the acres they harvest in a season.
I can remember being in the John Deere booth at 2019 Agritechnica when that was one of the medal winners. I can't remember if it was a silver or a gold, but I remember that technology being displayed at that time. It's interesting to see all these years later it come to fruition.
Yeah, you have a really good memory, and it finally is here in the marketplace. We had demo machines out this fall in Western Canada and within the U.S. as well, and it was a really exciting harvest season to allow customers to experience it firsthand after we introduced it, and they are seeing that increase in productivity. Another piece on the combine is harvest settings automation, and that system automatically changes the combine settings for the producer. So leveraging both predictive ground speed automation and harvest settings automation, they're seeing increased productivity, but we're also seeing a decrease in fuel consumption with some of the other changes we made on our new combines this year.
So the predictive ground speed, though, does it work better in some crops than others? Or, like, I'm thinking like in more drought conditions. Like, how do some of those factors play? I could see when, hey, bumper crop, there's slight variation, but when we've got some a higher standard deviation of yield, how does it work in those sort of situations?
Yeah, that's a great question. I would say when you do have that higher variance in yield across a field is when predictive ground speed automation is going to shine the most, because if you did not have that technology, you're always going to be on the hydro handle changing speed from, say, 2.5 miles per hour to 5 mile an hour as you're going in and out of good crop. And so that gets tiring throughout the day, and you're trying to maintain peak performance of the machine by running in 100% engine load. And so predictive ground speed automation in those varying conditions allows the machine to do that all automatically. We maintain running the machine at peak performance, and the customer doesn't have to constantly watch what they're doing as far as controlling engine speed and throughput of the machine. So it's a big win in those scenarios for sure.
On the auto settings, which I call the settings for operators like me, who always feel that we're never very good at setting the combine. How does it, is it adjusting constantly, or is it adjusting, maybe once an hour? Like, how often are those settings moving?
Yeah, there's no doubt that labor challenges is a big factor for some of our customers, and this technology does allow them to put a less skilled operator in the cab.
Like me.
Yeah. And so the system, Harvest Settings Automation, is using loss sensors and other inputs from the combine, but the user has the ability to set their preference with 3 different areas: broken grain, foreign material. And based off of where they set those inputs, the machine's going to optimize the performance. So if they want to make sure that they're capturing all the grain and they really want to focus on grain loss, the machine's going to make changes to do that. And it's changing your rotor speed, your concave clearance, your sieve and chaffer and fan speed all automatically as soon as you start harvesting. And we also base the initial starting settings on geolocation. So if a producer is running in Western Canada or, say, Southern Illinois, we can tailor the starting settings to give them the best possible outcome, and then they can fine-tune it from there.
I was just going to ask you, are multiple machines across multiple customers sort of, I was going to call like a cloud compute, like they're working together to find those optimal settings?
Yeah, so we do have in-field data sharing, which allows us to move and share guidance lines and yield coverage between machines in an actual field. But then from a producer's phone, they can use the operations center mobile, and they can see the individual combine settings on each machine as well as how they're performing and if that machine's using automation or not. And so they can go in there and actually change the settings per machine to make sure that they can optimize their fleet and make sure they're all running at the same.
Okay, so we got predictive ground speed. We've got auto settings. We're not far from not having to have somebody actually in that cab, right? Like that seems more of a reality with this kind of technology.
It's definitely the reality. This year when we look at what we've launched and what we've had in the past, I like to call it the ultimate combine experience. And really through the automation we've talked about here today, also including machine sync, which helps the customer automatically unload on the go and sync up with their grain cart, auto track turn automation, in-field data sharing, the whole suite of technology, not just focusing on the combine. We are fully automating the process right now, but we still need to have a customer in the seat. But it's truly amazing.
One last question on the auto settings. Obviously, there's operator override and your ability to change it based on your own experiences and your own knowledge. You can kind of work together with the computer to find that top-end setting?
Yeah, that's correct. And the nice thing about this system right now is they can go in there and say they don't want the system to change rotor speed. They can uncheck that box, and so the automation system will do everything else, but they'll let the producer run the rotor speed that they want, which gives them the ability to tailor the system to their needs or their crops. And so it's been a fantastic win for us this year, and like I said, customers are seeing an increase in productivity in using this automation, so it's important for them to turn it on and leave it on, and they'll see the benefits on their operation.
Hey, Bergen, great stuff. You made me sound like I know something about combines. A fantastic technology. This is technology for people like me, like I said. So, hey, enjoy the rest of National Association of Farm Broadcasters meeting.
Yeah, thanks, Sean. Thanks for being here. It's been great to talk with you, and have a great day.